Welcome back into Great Day Washington. This segment is sponsored by Omega Accounting Solutions. The IRS is putting a freeze on the employee retention tax credit, which can have an effect on the tax returns of a small business. So, what do you need to know? Recently, I spoke with Jay Woods, founder and president of Omega Accounting Services, to get the answer. Jay, thank you so much for speaking with us. So why is the IRS freezing those employee retention credits?
Yeah, great question. So, the IRS has been inundated with claims and really been playing catch up for most of the pre-pandemic subsidies that Congress issued into existence. And so, initially they had a backlog of over 1 million parcels they had to get through. They ramped up, hired a bunch of people, started processing claims. And really what they're seeing is they're seeing signs of fraud and really people hastily filing these tax credits. And so they're understandably pausing right now.
Sure, understandable. And so if a business currently has an ERC claim on file, what should they do?
I think the first thing is they need to go and really understand what the IRS is saying. So the IRS is issuing guidance about what qualifies you for eligibility. They've got certain criteria. And so you need to make sure that the group that you're working with is following that criteria. The way this credit works, and it's really an open-ended opportunity where the IRS essentially is set up to only cut checks and not quite audit this. They have to audit after the fact. And because of that, there have been industries created where companies are helping people really just process and file the claim, but not substantiate it. And so I think the substantiation of your eligibility is really important. And if somebody can get it done in 2 weeks, that's probably the wrong person to be talking to.
That sounds about right. And if a business was planning to file a new ERC claim, what should they do?
So if you're wanting to file a new claim, I think, again, you need to talk to your advisors, your CPA, and look at, am I really eligible, right? Was I impacted by the government shutdown orders in my state? Did I have a significant impact on my business operations? If those things are true, then I would engage with a firm that's been around. There's a lot of groups that have popped up and have really only been doing this tax credit business for the last few years. So make sure that you're with the right group. But I think you need to get your claim filed and in the queue, because once the IRS opens this up, it's going to be first in, first out. So if you've got a valid claim and you've had someone kick the tires on that, you should definitely get your filing.
That's good advice. And how long will it take to get an ERC refund now?
If you go back pre this IRS notice, it was taking anywhere from 3 to 6 months. When the IRS was behind earlier last year, it was close to 10 to 12 months. So what I anticipate is they're going to start stretching people to the 10 to 12 month range, because what they're doing is they're also looking at how they're going to change the process. The way this works is you're filing an amended 941, which is a payroll return. And it's an automatic, hey, you file and the IRS is supposed to issue a check. And so what they're doing is they're going to add a step where they can review and they're going to require more substantiation. So I think, that's what's going to really impact the delay in refund checks getting processed.
Okay, so Jay, you're talking about delays, and I think people want to know, is there any way to get that refund faster?
There really isn't a good way to get your refund faster. And I think the bigger issue is my refund claim even valid? I think that's the big message to take away from, hey, if the IRS is coming out and saying we're pausing this whole program, which is pretty unprecedented, because we're worried about fraud, then you should definitely be looking in the mirror and seeing who did you partner with? What do you know about this company? How did you hear about them? And what was the process like? Was it arduous? Did you have to submit 65 documents, and did it take a while, or was it seemingly a little bit too easy? I think those are the things you should be more concerned about. And it's the exact same things the IRS is looking at right now.
Jay, all really good things for people to consider. As you said, this is unprecedented. So thank you so much. Where can people go and learn some more?
I would go to the IRS's website, and they've got plenty of notices about what their regulations are. And with our company, it's omegataxcredits.com if you want to learn more about our process and how we're approaching things.
Thanks so much, Jay.
All right, thank you very much.
Again, you can head to omegaaccounting.com for more information.